Welcome to ISRA Week's Grand Touring Championship, brought to you by the Z1 SimWheel LCD display software. You can get these excellent dashboards and telemetry displays for your sim rig at z1simwheel.com, along with some excellent hardware, including the LCD display screen for an external display if you don't have a spare monitor. Well, we come into race 6 now of the championship, with Brian Carey leading the HPDs over teammate Andy Fuller. Dolgen Bulgen is in third, fairly far behind. Ryan Huff and Arthur Hermit are fighting it out there, 4th and 5th. Jeremy Burson and Daniel Quaroni, 5th and 6th, good battle. Brett Browse, Tim McLeish, and Victor Beltran rounding out the top 10. Then in GT3, Daniel Vaness with a nearly perfect score of 98. Lauren Bateman is 25 points down from him. That's going to be tough for him to surmount, but Mike Young is challenging Daniel Graldi, who's currently sitting in the 3rd spot. Then John Kuzlin and Marty Jeffries are just 1 point apart in 5th and 6th. And finally, Timothy Stoll and Chuck Chambliss. Alright, well, this is round 6. It's Long Beach, and no, don't adjust your monitors. The track really does look all funky like this. It's because it's a tech track. It's the first tech track for iRacing, and what it means is that they haven't finished the scenery. So, first let me introduce Brian Carey.
Hello.
And he'll go through the map.
Alright, well, we're at Long Beach, which is a favorite of Formula One previous and IndyCar afterwards, and it's quite an iconic street track. As you can see, Shoreline Drive, nice curving long straightaway into the turn 1, then Aquarium Way around the fountain, which is turns 2 and 3. Very, very tight, very slow to get through there, and very tricky. You can see most of the corners here. Typical street track, but this is the first time in iRacing that we're racing on a pure street track, which means walls are everywhere and mistakes will be punished severely.
And Anthony Muniz, our co-commentator, who will pipe up for the qualifying in the GTs, is on pole with Brian Carey next to him. Andy Fuller, the teammate, and Corey Davis right behind them, then Jeremy Burris and Ryan Huff, then Daniel Quaroni, Brent Bryles, and Tim McLeish and Victor Beltran rounding out the top 10.
Todd Carver and Mike Young on the front row for GT3, Marty Jeffries and Stephen McGarvey on second row, Javier Torres and Daniel Gralti on the third, Lauren Bateman and Luke Poulin on the fourth, and John Kuzlin and Keith Horner Jr. on the fifth row for GT3.
Thank you very much, Anthony. That was very well done, and only we know why. Alright, so it's a very short pace lap here. You can see the HPD is getting through the hairpin, and they are on the front straight now, and the green flag will be dropping in just a moment. You can see them accelerating already. And there we go, we're racing.
Alright, so we got Ryan Huff and Jeremy Burris here, kind of battling down Shoreline, so it's going to be a first start. As you can see, it's really quite striking as we're looking through what those are. Those are point cloud points. That's what happens when iRacing does the scanning, and they will, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but the battle going through the fountain. Just now, it looks like we're starting to file single file here, and you're going to find that a lot going through that corner. Looks like everyone's going all right.
Yeah, well, everyone's very cautious on this start, and it's paid off. It's funny how every time we've got a track where we're very concerned about safety. Oh, and that was Marty Jeffries, I think? Yes, getting sideways. Every time we're worried about safety at a track and people crashing out, we do really, really well. At least at the start.
Yeah, I mean, this track will get more difficult as it goes along. Tracks like VIR is one track is just where mistakes are punished so severely that everyone just calms down and tries to finish the race. And the racing isn't too intense, but I mean, it does become a little bit more clean. So expect to see some of that here. The thing with VIR, it's almost like the opposite, where mistakes are punished by a long, endless long trip into the grass, where mistakes here will be punished by basically instant doom, at least some sort of damage to your car, because that wall is right there. And those tires are not forgiving.
And you can see how tight, as Javier Torres goes around there, exiting the turn 11 hairpin, you can see just how tight that corner is, and a lot of cars are having visibility issues going through the apex of that corner, so expect to see quite a bit of drama there throughout the race.
It is by far that hairpin there leading onto Shoreline. It's by far the tightest corner we see in iRacing. The HPD, it's the only track where I have to take your hand off the wheel to get that wheel cranked around, and John Kuzlin making a move now on Steve McGarvey. Wait, no. Yes, Steve McGarvey, and who had... I don't know who these people are right now. Who's number
John
3?
Kuzlin in front, Stephen McGarvey there, and then I believe that's Keith Horner Jr. just behind.
Giving Steve a little helping hand through that corner. By that I mean some light rear end taps. And Daniel Verness in the Ford GT trying to make it around Brendan Long. Yes. Verness in the 33, Brendan Long in the 9. This has been a few weeks since we've done the commentary here, and already I've forgotten who everyone is. I apologize for that. But that is Keith Horner Jr. there in the 44. I'll get this in the next couple laps. It won't take me too long. Going around the John Kuzlin's number 27. Nice blue and white liveried car there.
And we're with Stephen Clark and Javier Torres. Torres recovering from that spin he had exiting the hairpin. He is down in 16th at the moment in the GT3 class. And you can see just how tight that corner is. Both the cars are missing the apex by quite a bit, which is going to affect their top line speed. Looks like Torres has a bit as Ford GT, although it doesn't seem to be affecting his straight line speed all that much, as he's able to get by Clark without much of an issue at all. Does it before even turn 1.
Like we were mentioning about those kind of gray points up there, this is because it is a tech track. What it means, like Dan said, there's no scenery being modeled. But what iRacing does, they do a laser scan of the track and they'll generate these points. You know, they're reference points where everything is, so that when they do fill in the scenery, you can kind of see that those are buildings up ahead. They're not melting into nothingness. That is just the points they would use, and they'd fill in the textures and everything and make it look very real. What that also means is you can see Lauren Bateman going around the outside of someone there, is as you're coming down to some of the corners, a lot of the things that we normally use as reference points, fence posts, buildings, fixed objects, we don't have that here at Long Beach, so you really have to be careful with your braking and your turn-in points. It's a very, very difficult course to get a rhythm built up.
Also, it would be nice if iRacing could put a few braking markers along the fencing line, because currently there are none.
Yeah, that would be super helpful.
On board here with Andy Fuller, who I think still has his Halloween livery, the Batmobile. He's running in 3rd place. You can see Brian Carey just up in front.
Yeah, he's been back to his regular livery for the last few weeks, but just the nature of how when Dan records these things and what's on the car is not necessarily what we see during the race, but that's irrelevant. The illusion of our broadcast should be kept, so I'll pretend I never say that, but these liveries are all legit, and Carl Mumbauer's left side of his car, not so legit anymore. It's pretty banged up.
And he is passed by Brendan Long and also another car. Who was that? That's someone. Looks like he probably let those guys by. He's feeling out the car. Must have just got that left side damage to see if... so he's examining his car and seeing how well it still is performing. So we have a battle here with Jeremy Burris and Brent Briles for 6th position. Looks like Briles able to get past Jeremy Burris at some point. Oh, as someone goes around there in the GT car. Who's that? I believe that was Luke Poulin. So he's falling down to 10th position now as McGarvey and Horner Jr. both get by.
And another thing we hadn't talked about, we talked about the walls being close meaning certain doom, but they also mean clogged track if anyone spins ahead of you.
There's not a lot of escape at this track here. That being said, that's how it's like in real life. However, I think the difference in real life is, I think I mentioned before in the broadcast, you kind of have that sense of self-preservation that kicks in on real-life tracks, and a better awareness of what goes around you that you don't quite have in the sim. So, a couple of those two things together, and you're going to find some guys making some mistakes as this race goes on.
Also, I think the real cars have a little bit more flexibility than the rigid models that we have here in iRacing.
I also believe Jeremy Burris just made a pass on Brent Briles there, so that was a good pickup for a position that brought him up to 6th for Jeremy.
Well, we do have to mention the real-life start for ALMS here this year, 2013.
Yeah, that did not go well.
Yeah, many $1 million in repairs. Ooh, as Carl Mumbauer laid on the brakes there going into the final hairpin. Yeah, many millions in repairs. I think the Falcon Porsche team was not able to actually get a new car because Porsche didn't have any available, so they had to go back to, I think it was their 2010 car, which kind of hurt the rest of their season. So yeah, that had quite a few consequences for many teams. Ferrari team was put out and had to spend about $600,000 or so for a brand new 458. So yeah.
Yeah, and then not to be outdone later in the year at Baltimore, they decided to see if they could duplicate that feat and destroyed quite a number of other cars here. But Long Beach, being much earlier in the season, was they were the original car breaker for the ALMS. Now we got a battle here for the lead. It's myself and my commentator partner Anthony are duking it out for first place with Andy Fuller right behind us. You can see my nice shiny helmet right there.
All those straight lines, you never get any of the pixelation on your helmet. Well, there's Andy Fuller, just behind, so top three very close. Looks like he has bumped the wall at least once. There's one of the back rear panels on Andy's car looks to be a little bit crunched, so pretty easy to do here, and luckily you can kind of gently bounce off a lot of the tire barriers without really hurting the HPD all that much.
You could do the roller coaster there. I mean, that's great. You can see Bridgestone on the sign there. So as you go through this broadcast, there's the same phenomenon I feel we have during the race, is you really get used to the fact that it's point cloud, you're not seeing real objects, and just it becomes more natural. It's like almost like you see the buildings there. Like that looks almost like a real-life car park, but it's not. It's still just point clouds. Game with a roller coaster. If you were to go on a roller coaster that was built like that, you'd probably fall off. So good thing it's in the simulation.
Wow, you guys are doing very nicely running closely here. No fear among teammates that you're going to crash into each other.
No, sir. Yeah, there is. We had. We have
looking like fear.
Yeah, at this point, I think we have complete confidence in each other.
Well, Anthony says that. Yeah, there's Anthony tossing cones at me. I should just probably a car ahead. But I don't know how many times in this sequence here I was pretty sure I was running into the back of Anthony. Just one of those things where, I mean, we know what we're doing. We don't do it, but it just every so often I'd have that like, oh my god, we're gonna die. Okay, we're good.
Don't say that, because I didn't have any of those moments. So
well, you're in front. Now you get to see what was happening.
I know now, but now I'm gonna have that little thought in the back of my head the next time. Shouldn't have said anything.
I'll do what I can to make sure you're not in front of me next time.
This is actually a pretty critical moment here for me. I was able to get past Poulin there, going into turn one. Oh, Brian Carey hits a little bit of the walls there, exiting. What is that, turn?
Yeah, there's a smack.
5, yeah.
A little bit more than a little bit there, I think.
But yeah, that helped break us up just a little bit. It's put me about 2.5 seconds in front, so that gave me some breathing space, and kind of put Brian offline a little bit there because he got caught behind that GT car. So I don't think it really looks like it's hurt your car too much, but it was definitely not a little tap. Well, that was a little tiny tap, but it also nearly sent Stephen McGarvey around. And it looks like Verness might be able to capitalize on that and take away 6th or 7th position, rather.
Yeah, I think he may have just caught the inside of that hairpin there. Just enough to get the car kicked out, but better top speed on the straightaway, and he's able to maintain.
Now, as we come down to the start-finish, let's talk about the pit exit and this red and yellow-blue line that's to our right. You see the car is not going over that, even though it would be better for their turn-in. That's because, just like real life, we're not allowed to.
Yeah, Stan Gralty, who is administering I guess marshalling duties this race as well as racing, decided that he would beat us severely if we cross that line. Matthew Voigt unfortunately struggling a little bit back at 13th right now. I still let John Kelly pass going into here. Javier Torres going by as well. And so that's for position, actually. Javier gaining from that earlier spin he had. Remember, he was facing backwards coming out of the hairpin. Also, his car's not actually on fire, so I just like everyone at home to just relax. It's cool.
Should also just point out that not crossing that red line there going into turn 1, at least for the LMP cars, cost about 3 or 4 tenths of a second per lap, so it was a fairly significant advantage you got by using that little bit of extra road there.
Well, people were saying that, but I kind of, well, me personally kind of disagree, just because the first couple laps, once you're used to going out there and coming back in, you're about that much slower. But once you figured out the line going through, just it's a difference in the braking, and I actually ended up doing my fastest ever lap without using that going across there. As once we stopped going across that line, that I was able to set my fastest lap. In fact, the lap that was only a tenth off Anthony's pole. So.
Well, Anthony's implying, since he had pole, and he didn't cross the line either, he would have gone even faster if he had.
Exactly. Dan caught on to that.
I got onto it too, I just chose to ignore it. Oh, look at this, as the Corey Davis coming around Daniel Verness there. This is a battle for third position right now, as Andy Fuller has dropped back just a little bit, and Corey Davis has decided to join the fight. Corey Davis, another Kaiser Rennsport member, so right now running 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nearly went and tapped the back of Andy Fuller's car as they went through the hairpin. Probably hardly, well, I couldn't really exactly see because the car was blocking.
What is this happening here?
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ouch.
Yeah, that didn't look fun. And hey, it was on the other side though, so I guess that side was needing to be evened out.
Yeah, unfortunately that was lingering damage from the earlier wall contact. I'd been lucky with traffic up to that point, but once I got clean air and into the braking, the car did not want to slow down. Actually see Marty's little Canadian flag there in the mirror. That was kind of cool on the right hand side, you can see, just a little bit. Matthew Voigt and Stephen Clark bombing around the track. Now, my racing colleague, who hasn't raced with us for a number of seasons now, but buddy Ryan Corns, we used to work at an indoor go-karting track, and as I got going up to speed here, not now because I've damaged the car pretty severely, but I used to drive around the track because the indoor go-karting track is much like a street track because you don't have edges of the track, you just have, well, plastic sides that you really have to cut those corners very, very closely. And once I got a good feel for the car and I got a good setup, it really kind of, to me anyways, it felt like I was driving back in my old indoor go-karting days. Andy Fuller's opened a little bit more of a gap back to Corey Davis.
Yep, it's up to about 1.5 seconds or so at the moment.
And Anthony's got a full 8-second lead right now due to all the shenanigans that were going on, so whatever is going on behind him, Anthony's got his head down and is moving forward at a pretty good clip. Carl Mumbar is getting a lot of screen time today, and just I like the there's not a good shot of Carl on the inside of his car here, but I do like his Marlboro paint scheme on the McLaren, and if I was ever presented with one of those cars with a chance to drive a Marlboro painted McLaren MP412, well, I'd like to say I'd be able to do it, but I would probably pass out in a puddle of my own drool. Hopefully I'll get over that and be able to drive the car. And thanks to one too many random graphic comments, my commentating partners have left the booth.
We're still here, just lurking in the shadows.
Alright, well that is super creepy. We'll go back to watching Carl Mumbauer and Jason Molina, who's seems like he's struggling a little bit too. His Carl's also got damage, so it looks like they've locked themselves in a battle for 12th. 11th? Yes, 11th, because Jason is in 11th.
Yeah, we need to talk about going around that fountain at some point too, because that is a scary thing to do.
More than where do you have?
Did you talk about how truly terrifying it was every time?
I wouldn't say it was terrifying, it was just hard. You're going so slow, it's hard to be terrifying.
Oh, yep, there's an example of how that is such a blind corner.
You can buff that out later, though.
This would actually be the perfect opportunity if you had the Oculus Rift, because you'd be able to turn your head to look at that very tight apex there, so you'd actually be able to tell where your car was pointed.
And it'd be in 3D, so you'd have depth perception.
Exactly.
When is that supposed to come out anyways? We're just early December right now as we're recording this, so we expect that by...
Well, Dan can correct me if I'm wrong, because I think he knows just about as much as I do, if not more. Dev kits have been out and are continuing to go out. Right now, I think most dev kits are, 720p. There is Oculus Rift support in iRacing currently. I'm not sure how well it works, but I know it does work. And the full 1080p versions should be out sometime in spring 2014, I believe.
Sounds about right. I don't know the estimated time, but the rest of it sounds spot on.
Yeah, the time's been pushed a few different times just because I think they really want to make sure that the final HD product is really good. So, which I don't blame them, because it's kind of the first thing we've seen like this in forever. So they do want to make sure it's good and it works properly.
And Stephen, Stephen's McGarvey. Yes, McGarvey. Steve McGarvey is a new driver with us. Very quick driver, but not at all any respect for the cones in that little instance there.
He's just lucky that those cones aren't able to be to get lodged in the nose of his car like they are in the LMP.
Yes, that was another thing too. We mentioned a lot of the broadcast. It was very annoying to get cones stuck into your car, but really hurt the handling. Yeah, no, but like the Oculus Rift, I mean, that's one thing I've been, one of the things a lot of iRacers, that's Steve Clark, that's a hard hit, and that's going to bend the suspension for sure. Let's see if he's able to continue, but he doesn't look like that car is pointed very straight, I'll tell you that right now. See if he ducks into the pits here. If he can duck into the pits, yep, looks like he's heading for the pits right now. Or just going to pull it and scrape it along the side of the wall there. I think he was going into the pits.
Well, we've done 20 minutes out of the 60-minute race, so he's probably within his pit window on that GT, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, he said, "Whoops, I made a boo-boo. Better take care of it now."
Yep, I was definitely within my pit window when I crashed, so I think I've been in and out of the pits, or I'm heading towards my pit window. That looked like there was going to be contact, but probably not, because they pulled away from it, but John Kelly battling with Tim McLeish. Like I say with the Oculus Rift, if you go to, the channel you're watching this on right now, Sim Racing Dan on YouTube, if you go click on Dan's live, recorded live over-the-shoulder shot, you can see Dan has, for iRacing, it's a pretty advanced rig. He's got the 3 monitors, he's got a Sim Experience race seat. Not the newest generation, but still a hell of a lot better than my canvas chair. But with the 3 screens is something that I was looking to upgrade too, but with the Oculus Rift on the pipeline, I'd much rather get a 3D virtual reality headset with a lot more functionality, I believe, for iRacing than just the 3 screens, while awesome, could provide. I don't even know if Dan Verness is turning his car right now. He's just kind of letting it scrape along the side of the wall to kind of get it pointed in the right direction.
Seems to be working fairly well for him. He's got himself up to 5th place so far, and he started fairly well down in the field. So as long as his car is able to hold together, it might be asking a little too much. He might be able to continue giving himself up to a podium.
I don't know what Verness, what kind of I guess language or ancestry that last name comes from, but wherever it came from originally, I believe it is actually translated loosely to hard on the side of your paint. I don't know if that's what that means.
I'm not going to string those words together and say them quickly.
Yes, yes. Anyways, let's see, I'm rubbing off on my fellow commentators a little bit.
Oh my! Why? Oh.
No! Oh, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Today's commentary brought to you by Tobias Fuke.
And Warren Bateman just gave up a spot to Daniel Verness, and that kicks Verness up into fourth. Oh my gosh, Brian Carey with the very nicely shaped LMP.
Yeah, that is not aerodynamically efficient, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, apparently that's after you hit the pits.
No, I don't think I've hit the pits quite yet. Or maybe I have, I don't know. No, I must have. I totally must have hit the pits by now.
Yeah, well, you know, Brian hit the pits. We decided to try out a new aero package on his car. This is, I can't even think of something witty to go with it, so it's not working.
I just like to thank my pit crew for their hard and tireless effort to make my car as runnable as possible for this. Like they're just hitting it with hammers in anger. I think Stephen McGarvey has, I believe, actually, he's got a paint scheme much like Martin Jeffries because he's running the SRN paint scheme, or will be after this race. He is signed by those guys. He is another Canadian driver because can't get enough Canadians in this series, and will definitely pop a little bit better than that plain white car driving around a tech track. Almost hard to look directly at it. All I can see is the yellow on the track. Just brain searching for color. Oh, right over top. Yeah, what's with that? If that was an LFP, that'd be stuck in your car and you'd lose like 8 seconds a lap. But anyway, speaking of random tech gadgets, as we watch Steve McGarvey driving around, our colleague Gangaproni has also procured himself a 3D printer and has been posting pictures of the creepy little 3D figurines he's been making with it.
Yeah, that's swampy. But yes, it's a lot of fun so far. I just got it yesterday, so I don't have very much experience with it at all.
Is it one of those things where you could just like download plans off the internet, or are you creating them yourself, or?
Yeah, you can download stuff from Thingiverse. Those are, it's a place where people put models that they know work, and then you can try to build some of your own, but those are trickier because there are a lot of things you have to keep in mind to create a successful 3D model to print.
Hey, no, wait, I'm pitting right now. Look at this. It's me in the pits. Okay, so let's see if they do anything with this damage visually. I don't know if we'll show a shot of my car from the outside here. But you guys remember what it looked like before, so next time we come around we see a front end shot of my car, then see what the crew actually will do. Something creepy about watching Luke's head just turn ever so slightly. Not sure why I didn't notice it with the other McLaren drivers, but... And does Luke still have the skull and crossbones on the side of his car?
I don't think he does.
There's Corey Davis going through the fountain terrifyingly. Ooh. As he almost loses at a high rate of speed of what was probably 30 kilometers an hour. And what Dan was saying, what terrifying every time was, it's just a very difficult corner to get right because you really have to slow the car down and you basically have to needle it through there. I think I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the broadcast, meaning the cars would have to go single file through there because there really is no practical way to go side by side. If you go side by side, I mean, it's the slowest corner in the track, you're just going to kill like 90% of your speed if you go side by side, which means you'll probably be going backwards, you'll be going so slow. Very difficult corner to get right. The hairpin is also pretty slow too, requires a lot of lock, but it's more of a straightforward corner. You can also go into the fountain a little high, you know, brake really late and go into there really deep, but you're going to kill your exit speed and you'll lose, I mean, upwards of a second a lap, even though you made it through the corner all right. So it's really it's very difficult. Like I say, I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but it's definitely difficult. Maybe we'll be on board through it, who knows, but the director will probably cut away seconds before we enter the thing. So here we go, wait, we're going to follow Corey through, and here he comes up, watch this.
Got the time.
Here we go, wait, and look at this. No. No. He teased us. We almost made it all the way through. You saw what the entry looked like, folks, so that's, I guess, the important part. And speaking of the important part, it looks like Corey has caught up Andy Fuller for second place. So, I know Andy's in some traffic here, and Corey's taking it very easy with the traffic right now, not pushing his luck. We're just coming up to the halfway point of the race, so Corey doesn't really need to risk it all right now.
Oh, he does still have the skull and crossbones on the side.
It's just turned black due to the massive amounts of death that has happened.
Oh, and Brian Carey goes around. Oh, you can see. Looks like they fixed one side of the car, which is basically impossible because that's all one nose piece. So I don't know how that's happened. The mechanics have worked some kind of crazy wizardry. Doesn't seem to be helping though because of the spin and drifting that Brian was doing there through turn 5 or exit of turn 5.
Just having a little fun. Driving a crippled car on a street track. Trying not to kill anyone. Oh, it's one of those cones appearing right in front of Stephen McGarvey. He's currently running in 7th right now. I don't know how the pit stops are working out. There's Ryan Huff coming by. These guys are all teammates, basically. And John Kelly is off.
Ooh, he's got broken rear suspension on that car. I'm not sure exactly how it happened because he was in a bit of an odd spot there, right in the apex, although away from the apex of the final hairpin. So
he's dreaming that the pits can do something for him.
I might be able to offer some insight to that one. After that 360, which you guys saw, which was expertly done, you notice that John Kelly had just gone past me, so I decided to follow in behind him driving around, and not sure what I was going to look at down the back straightaway there. Totally lost sight of where I was in this straightaway. Missed my brake marker by, well, by infinity basically, because I missed it. And unfortunately ramped myself off the back of John and over the fence.
Oh, over the fence, wow.
So I would like to officially apologize to John, even though I've apologized to him numerous times before, on the broadcast. I like to take pride in not running into anyone at all, let alone at maximum velocity, which I did to John there. As we're coming down the straightaway where it happened right now. Picture right now, Tim McLeish not braking. That's what have happened there. So, I think we had a race back at, I think it was season 6, and it was a 2-hour race at Watkins Glen where things went terribly wrong for me, and I hit 3 or 4 different people during the race in various, you know, situations, both racing and just me being stupid. And that was what... oh no, Carl Bar is over the wall.
Too fast.
Or not fast enough. Hard to say. So we'll see if we can find any cars that are still, you know, in one piece by the end of this race. Anyways, my point is, since Season 6, and this is Season 12, I haven't done anything quite that stupid, so...
Season 6, I think that was my first.
It was.
Funny to think back of those races and remember how terrible I was.
That's one thing I want to point out too, is just it's, as Anthony mentions how brutal he was back then. The point is, he was a rookie to iRacing, and within a very, very short period of time, in fact, by the end of Season 6, he went from qualifying and running towards the back end of the LMP field to basically being right up near the front, to this race right now, where he is currently your leader by 13 seconds, and Daniel Verness, that's... oh, that's not good.
Didn't quite have enough runoff there in the end.
It's a very actually popular line for cars to go off in Indy cars. Trust me, it happens a lot to the professionals, so nothing wrong with Daniel Verness going off right there, but Lauren Bateman is starting to catch him up. So this is for position now, folks. This is 4th position in the GT class. And note, that is a rear view mirror, folks. Lauren's not watching movies on his DVD player. Or Blu-ray player, sorry. DVDs are going the way of the VCR. Anthony remembers what that is.
Yeah, I do actually. I remember VCRs and videotapes and all that.
My son actually pointed out to me because we tape his shows that he likes to watch on the our PVR, and at some point within the last couple months he had asked us why we call it taping it. And then we had an awkward conversation with a 5-year-old as to what a VCR is and...
what time do you guys have on the clock?
On the race clock, or...?
Yeah.
25:20.
19, 18, 17, 16. Which, by the way, is about 5 seconds out of sync from our telemetry at the bottom of the screen. For those of you watching at home, that will mean nothing.
Yeah, I did have a bit of a lag a couple minutes back, so that might be why.
Yeah, my video froze up again. It seems to be a thing with this new player, and so I had to restart from the video.
Yes, and again, my bad, technological update, and what I've discovered since then was, because the base viewer that Dan did was very good, I'm having a problem with DivX. I have no idea the nature of my problem. I cannot get DivX videos to work on my computer. So if anyone out there in the YouTube world who's watching this video and would like to explain to me why I can't get DivX to work on Windows 8.1, aside from the fact that I have Windows 8.1 that is not constructive, I have it, just let it go.
I was about to point that out.
It's here, got it. Just if anyone has heard anything or knows what to do, please drop a line in the comment box there or message me. It'd be greatly appreciated. Oh, Daniel Verness going on the inside of Mike Young. That's for position, and he uses the tire wall to change direction again, and he is off to the races, folks. He is not losing any speed. I am extremely jealous of... Oh, Mike Young has taken the position back. So obviously he did lose some speed there. I apologize. Still very jealous of Daniel Verness's car, because if that was my car, I would have turned into basically a crumpled up paper napkin. In fact, I have turned into a crumpled up paper napkin. Oh, Anthony Muniz is in the pits, but his lead has been down from 15 seconds to 7. I think there may have been an incident. In fact, I'm being told right now from our corner workers there has been an incident, a spin, so I think some slight wall contact, a little minor wing damage on the back there, so let's see if that's going to damage his car, but both Andy Fuller and Anthony Muniz are in the pits right now. Now Daniel Verness has picked up speed again, back taking the fight to Mike Young. Oh, undamaged his car looks.
Yeah, he's hitting those tire barriers fairly. What's the proper term? Square?
I guess.
One of those, yeah. Basically, you know, his car is parallel with the tires, and I guess the way the iRacing damage model works, that seems to minimize, for whatever reason, the amount of damage that the car takes. Yeah, because you can see there's really almost no damage, at least visually, on his car. So, looks like he got caught up there on the tire wall going into the turn 11 hairpin. That might be suspension damage. Yeah, I think that may have broken the suspension.
Really, that did it? That's what happened?
No, he's still going. I don't know. Wow.
Well, Daniel Verness is, at this point in the race, clearly winning our resiliency award. Yeah, with 21:40 left in the clock. I believe all the LMP pit stops are over, at least scheduled pit stops. Any more pit stops that'll happen will be for bad reasons, I guess. But we have Anthony Muse sitting with about a 7.5 second lead over Andy Fuller. Corey Davis is further 4 seconds back of Fuller with Brent Briles in 4th. Ryan Huff in 5th, Tim McLeish 6th, Victor Beltran in 7th, and John Kelly, the first of the retirements, in 8th, with Brian Carey, Jeremy Burris, and Daniel Caroni, long since parked, slashed, picked up the very many pieces of their car. GTs, on the other hand, I'm not quite sure what the pit stops there, as Mike Young drifts it through that one corner, chasing his teammate Daniel Grolty. So a little bit of a lot of car control there by Mike Young.
Well, since you crashed again, what's your time?
20 minutes, 44, 43, 42.
Thank you very much.
I guess this is the point where Daniel's computers are starting to take over the world.
Yeah, they've become disinterested in what we're doing here and have moved on to other things. So
he gave them the ability to develop weapons, physical weapons.
Oh, that's true. Better watch out now.
And everybody loves that sensationalizing news. I mean, that was the first thing I told my mother I bought it. She said, "Don't go building a gun with it."
I think someone actually did successfely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
it only fires one bullet, so it hardly can do anything. I think it's just one of the small 22 room fire or something.
Yeah.
But
well, have you ever seen the movie In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich?
Malkovich.
Basically, he does the same thing the 3D printer would do. Is he makes a gun out of plastic. Oh, Mike Young, was he into the back of Brent Briles? Yes. No.
Yeah. Slightly.
Someone hit someone there. Or something. I heard a crunch. But anyways, John Malkovich, in an effort to assassinate the president and avoid metal detectors, what he does is, and kids, don't try this at home, this would be bad, but he makes a plastic gun. It only fires 2 bullets, so it's almost got a double chamber at the back. It's all plastic parts, but he hides bullets in a lucky rabbit's foot. So all he needs is the 2 bullets, and he tries to kill the president, but Clint Eastwood is wise to his ways and is able to do a diving save, catching the bullets expertly with his chest. And breaking a couple of goddamn ribs in the process.
Only Clint Eastwood.
I really can't do a Clint Eastwood impersonation, so that's the best you're going to get, folks. Oh, and there's Anthony Muse and Andy Fuller. This is the battle for first. Andy Fuller in a non-damaged car. Anthony Muse driving with a rear wing that is not good.
Yeah, a little disproportionate to the actual contact with the wall that happened, but, you know.
Well, if Daniel Verness had been driving that stint, you'd be alright, but unfortunately he was not,
Yes.
and you have suffered severe damage.
And actually, it would be impossible to break the wing like that because it's in line with the rear of the car. So, yeah. I'm kind of all pissed all over now because of iRacing's dumb damage model. Thanks, iRacing.
Yeah,
but at least I get to see my car, so that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. So both Anthony and I had very good qualifyings, good race pace. We're very excited about our race. And when we found out it was time to do commentary for this race, which unfortunately was a little while ago, and I apologize to everyone out there for that, we get to go relive our trauma again of what is unfortunately a very, sad race.
Luna's not going to give it up, though.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Good driving. Andy Fuller's probably thinking, what do I have to do at this point? Because Anthony's car clearly, from his point of view, is just ready to explode, but he's not able to get by, so maybe Anthony can hold on for the last bit of the race, thus lessening his trauma of driving an awesome race. Long story short, I think Andy Fuller could smell blood at this point, though. Or motor oil, I don't know. He's smelling something. What kind of food do they have in Long Beach? Good food? It's been a while since I've been there.
I don't know. Avocado?
You think? It's right near where the
It's California, right?
Yeah, it's right near where the Queen Mary. It's not very, from my recollection, there's like naval museums and stuff like that down there. I was there in 1990 when I was like 11. Went to, saw a lot of homeless people. Armed homeless people, I might add, which is always awesome when you're 11. Coming from Canada, where I thought I hadn't seen it. Not one that was being held by a homeless person. Anyways, point is, I was, and that was not good. Andy is going to get a severe reprimand for that. And here comes Corey Davis, I think. Yep, and I don't think Anthony's car is any less damaged than it was before.
No, it certainly did not help matters.
No. Now, we could say that after the race, Anthony would decide to beat up Andy, but Andy is probably a little bigger than Anthony. I'm just guessing. And it'd have to be quite the sneak attack.
I could use my smaller size to my advantage.
Also, the fact that you live in Michigan and he lives in Washington,
yeah.
You would have the element of surprise if you were to show
Especially
up.
if it came now. You never see it coming.
But yeah, look, Anthony's still able to hold on to the position here. Corey with a very similarly painted car, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to the position for much longer. I think Andy's probably a little gun shy right now about making a pass. Well, not that gun shy, because he's able to drive around the outside, but not hold it. Or maybe he can hold it. I think he realizes now that Corey Davis is running him down, so... Yep, there's a position taken. Now we got Corey Davis coming up behind Anthony. Anthony has quite a few more sponsors than Corey.
We should have the same amount, but don't think Corey ever uploaded that to Trading Paints.
Yeah, possibly not. Also, do notice again, we mentioned it before, but Anthony has unilaterally switched his engine to Mercedes, where the rest of us are running Audis. I guess Corey's might be Mercedes too, but me and Andy have been running Audis the entire year, so we'll get that squared away next season.
And next GTC season, hopefully we'll all be running BMWs.
I'm not counting on it, but I think that would be awesome. I love the BMW.
Well, not next season, but next full season.
What's next?
because we have the interim seasons or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, the Z4 is the next car they're coming out with.
I believe so.
Yeah, because they have that and the rough on the schedule for next year together, and fairly early in the year. So.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yeah, I think the rough is going to be the next one coming down, because I mean we've actually seen shots of it. So
yeah,
I'd say that'd be the next car out, which would also be cool. I wouldn't mind because they have different versions of it, some race versions. I guess for the first time they've actually taken the rough and the dimensions of whatever and not just gone by what they can scan and actually made some variations of that car based on the knowledge of the data, where typically iRacing has only been able to, not been able to, but chose to scan and, what am I trying to say, model exactly the car that they're given. So in this case we have the, what is this, the HP, the ARX-01C, but right now they're running like the 03 something, B maybe?
Yeah, I think this is the, yeah, I think so. And then next year, 2014, I think they should all be closed cockpits, which well, I don't think it's actually a Lotus chassis. I think it's Lola something, but the Lotus team in the WEC has already been running it, so...
Yeah, it's a Lola chassis.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, that's what most of the, I think that's what all of the LMPs will look like, or very similar to that anyways, next season.
Even if I'm out of business, huh? Well, maybe not out of business, bankrupt.
Well, I don't know that Lola will be making them, but that's what
Lola's
the regulations
been bankrupt like 8 times at this point, so I don't know what the whole deal with that is. I assume their technology or whatever base is owned or bought by someone somewhere. Like there's still, I think, isn't there still a Toyota Formula One factory somewhere in Cologne or something like that in Germany that's just like waiting for someone to go in?
No,
like
there is a Toyota factory, but it's not for F1. It's for their WEC program.
Do they use the F1? Because they had, I heard somewhere that they're talking about using, new entrants into Formula One could be given the old Toyota equipment that they're using for Formula One.
Oh.
To be honest, I...
Oh no!
No idea. Oh, there it is.
That's terrible. Oh, that's... And there's Corey's... See, that came clean off. That's a clean break. He should be fine.
Actually, I think we both still had them in the actual race. Can't be sure, but...
Hey, look on the bright side. It'll be harder to get cones under you now.
Or easier. Some more surface area to collect more cones. How was Daniel Verness in 4th? He has hit every wall 3 times this race.
Yeah, but everyone else has hit them 6.
And he's 1 second behind Mike Young right now, who is 1 second behind Dan Gralt. He's in a battle for 2nd right now. Daniel Verness, after hitting every wall, has shown the speed and tenacity where he may finish 2nd in this race. There's 9 minutes left. He's right there in this. I'm going to call it right now. Daniel Verness gets our drive of the race. This is a... look at the hood on that thing. It's just like it's... must be like a parachute. He's still able to hustle this thing around.
Yeah, it doesn't look quite right.
His wing is all... Look at the wing. It's like all tilted to the one side, and he's going to go on the inside of Mike Young. And he can't even drive it straight. It's so bent up. Does he have 3rd position?
He's going to be challenging for it, and...
Yes. Does he have the run?
Young might be able to hold on to... No, he couldn't quite hold on, so yeah, it takes it away. Wow.
So Daniel Verness is up to a podium position. We kept it off the wall there too, so now it's Dan Gralty up ahead. Todd Carver's 31 seconds to lead right now, so I should say that lead is safe. However, he could easily hit a wall and explode, but he is running the Ford GT, which apparently is indestructible.
Yeah. Looks a little bit less bent up from this camera angle.
No, wait, what are these guys? Yeah, this is second and third right now, I guess. Due to all the retirements, these guys have been battling. Unfortunately, they're about a minute behind race leader Andy Fuller right now, so up until now they really hadn't factored into the standings, but sadly with the retirement of 4/5 of the Kaiser Rennsport contingent, Andy Fuller riding his Batman advantage for one more race. Oh no! Oh, Ryan just got underneath Brent Bryles, so that's gonna cost him a little bit. He executes a perfect 19-point turn, and he's off to the races again. Goes past the pit, so obviously he thinks he can get to the end. Look for Tim McLeish. I'm just gonna check to see what the gap is. Now it was 20 some odd seconds before. I think my sound is off a little bit here too, because I'm watching this and
yeah, mine's been off by, not by much, but has been off for most of the race.
Again, Daniel Verness showing no respect to the cones there. He's got a second place to take down right now. Cones are the least of his worries. Tire barriers, nothing. Concrete walls, nothing. Cones, forget about it. Second place is on his list right now, and that second place is Dan Gralte's at the moment. Although he has opened up a 2-second lead over Verness. And we're looking at Mike Young, who is still in touch with Verness, actually closer than... well, here we go. Here's Gralte. A good shot coming from behind the McLaren. And a very pristine rear wing. Forgot what those look like.
Dan, you can put stuff on it now. Don't forget about that. That was about a perfect line going through that corner, by the way. About as close to that wall as you can get. Nice exit.
All right, 4.5 minutes to go, boys, so we'll translate into about 3 more laps for everyone, I believe.
And Todd Carver's still out by 28.5 seconds. So while that has gone down slightly over the past couple laps, I think he's really just taking it easy these last few minutes of the race and making sure that he gets home, which as Daniel Verness continues to make little bumps and bruises to his poor Ford GT, I don't think he's as concerned about that as Todd Carver is.
You're watching one hell of a driving display right now by Daniel Verness. Early race, a little sloppier off the walls a lot, and we've talked a lot about it. Right now, he is, not to say he's driving the wheels off it, but they're not coming off, folks. Those things will not come off. That metaphor does not work in this case. Taking advantage of that red line there a little bit, so...
Well, red line doesn't apply to anywhere but this main straight.
Yes, because the walls are dangerous enough, folks. There's really no need to enforce other corner cutting penalties.
He's getting pretty close here. You can see he's going to look to challenge on the inside. Not quite close enough, but these last few corners, he seems to be pretty strong. Kind of a hard place to pass here. You kind of really have to. The biggest chance is obviously going into turn 1, but you can see he gets real close here, so he might have a chance. I would say head down into this right-hander, but I think his top speed might be down just a bit because of all the small damages he's collected, because you can see Gralty is able to open up about a half a car length or so down that straight. But you can see Vernessa's line is so much better through these couple sweeping left-handers that he closes right back up, so it's all about getting the good exit there out of the turn 11 hairpin. Which he didn't really do that well this time.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't think his car will have the top speed. The Ford GT I don't think has the top speed in general to get past the McLaren down this long straightaway. He'd have to make a long dive. It would be into. Oh, and I can't remember the corner. It's 2 before the back straightaway. The left-hander before the back. Yeah, that's nice and wide. That's where it's going to happen. And the white flag has come out, but not for these guys. These guys have this lap and 1 more lap to go, so don't be fooled by that white flag. He's lost his distance here, so... Oh, and he's scraped the wall. And that might be it. That might be one straw that broke the camel's back there. Going into this corner is where I was hoping it would happen, but I think he's dropped back far enough. Mike Young is 2.5 seconds behind him. Yeah, right that corner right there is where it would have happened. But he does have 1 more lap to catch up, so who knows? I sure as hell don't. Oh, the lead's closed up in the HPD. It's it's up to 1 minute and 4 seconds. So forget what I just said. This is the battle, folks. Okay, he's obviously, like Anthony said, much faster through this section here, going into the final hairpin. Nice wide run through here to get a run down the straightaway. He's under a second behind him right now.
I think Gralty might be a little bit better through that final hairpin. Takes Verness seems to take a faster approach through that corner, and you can't quite get the exit speed as much as you can if you're a little bit slower at the apex. So there's Fuller finishing.
There's Brent Bryles coming home in 3rd position, Ryan Huff, and good job for those guys. And here we go. This is a pass. This is a corner I said it was going to happen, folks. Verness giving him the dummy to the outside. He's not close enough right now. Can he take it? Oh, he's got a good run there. Daniel Gralty runs wide. Verness has a better line going into turn 7. That's going to be the run to the back straight. Does Gralty overcook it? No, he's run a very good line. Verness using those tires that he's used all race. He's not going to have the legs going down the straightaway, so he's going to have to throw it up the inside. Gralty covers inside. Verness goes to the outside. Tight battle going in there. It goes around the outside. Can he hold it? Oh, he had the speed, but he's done it, folks. He's done it. He's taken 2nd position from Dan Gralty, 2 corners from the end. Can he hold it to the line as we see Jason Molina coming across the line? Hi, Jason. How's it going? Other guys. Awesome battle. Here it is. Yeah, he's got the position, folks.
Unbelievable. What a finish. All right. Well, let's run through the standings while we're looking at them. Andy Fuller is leading, takes the lead rather from Brian Carey. And Ryan Huff takes from Dodgen Baldwin, who wasn't in the race. And Jeremy Burse and Brent Bryles are tied for 5th now. Arthur Herman just 4 points down there. Tim McLeish and Dan Quaroni are tied for 8th. And then in GT3, Daniel Verness looking great with 120 points there. What a finish. Lauren Bateman is in 31 points down. Daniel Gralty in 3rd, 37 points down. Mike Young in 4th, 40 points down. John Coos in 5th, 50 points down. I think they planned that. Marty Jeffrey is 53 points down in 6th. Then Todd Carver 7th, Timothy Stoll 8th, and Matthew Voigt in 9th. And because I'm slightly ahead of you guys, I just realized that hasn't finished for you yet, but that's all right.
Oh, it works. That was actually a very exciting finish of the race. It was nice to be able to call a last lap battle for once. I think we've had in the history of our broadcast there that I was able to do that. So,
I just called one at Silverstone with you and Boldrin, I think.
That's right. But I was involved in that, so.
True.
Anyways, the schedule here, the next race is Sebring, which I don't think we're going to have a broadcast for, unfortunately, folks, because both Anthony and Dan weren't there, and I forgot to record it.
And it was pretty boring from what I've heard.
Oh, it was terribly boring. Very spread out. Suzuka next, Lime Rock, Laguna Seca, Phillip Island 90 minutes, that's next on our schedule. Then Road Atlanta to close out the season. So we're going to have a few times. Lime Rock, not looking forward to that. It should be an entertaining broadcast, but that'll be worse than this one, folks.
All right, well, thank you to Brian Carey and to Anthony Muniz for their commentary for this very, actually, interesting race. It turns out enough people survived that kept the racing close, that it was really good. Thank you to our sponsors, Z1 Simwheel, to our fellow racers, and the admins of the league for making it all possible. And finally, to you for watching. Have a good night.